let's get started. So I've got all my pieces here. Okay, I've already cut them all out. I've got the stamp set that I'm using. This is from the Designer Series paper stack that's currently in our January to June mini. It's the Best Dressed 6x6 stack. We've got some, these are some of the other papers that are available in it. As you can see, there's lots of variety, flowers, plain, stripes, dots, etc. But what I've done is I've pulled these three pieces out so that you can see them. This piece has got perfume bottles, there's a piece with handbags, and there's a piece with shoes. So depending on what floats your boat, you can get fussy cutting. So for this card in particular, I've fussy cut perfume bottles. You can see I've actually cut up a whole sheet of them, and I'm not going to use them all. This is one of the pieces of Designer Series paper. The colour that's coordinating in the pack is Purple Posy. However, I've actually teamed it up with some Highland Heather at the moment, just because I actually think it goes quite nicely together. I've pulled out a new stamp set. You won't have seen this one yet. And its name is called Many Mates. This is it here. Okay. All just different sayings, you know, thinking of you, get well, anniversary, etc. And of course, birthday, and you know, you're sort of fabulous, which could be for anything. And I've teamed it. I've got my Very Versailles back again, just because I like it. All right, and we're just going to do a couple of little things special. So let's get rolling. Okay, so I'll just pop those to the side and strategically put all of my perfume bottles over there. So this is just an A4 piece of cardstock cut in half. You'll notice, I don't know if you can see it, I've got a little bit of a seam happening here where went from when I cut it. So I'm just going to flatten that out with my bone folder. Okay, and there you go. It's flat and it's gone, except for that piece there. So I haven't pre-scored. I must admit I'm not the most crash hot at pre-scoring. So it's a bit of a grey old day outside. The light's not that perfect, but it's working okay. So I've pre-cut this piece. It's 7.5 centimetres by 14.3. So I just have to decide which way up I'd like it. Because I wanted to pull in some extra colour, that's why I've got my Very Versailles out. I've pulled in my Versamark so that I don't need any ink colour. The Purple Posy that we don't have ink for would have been perfect, but let's make do, okay? So this will give us a nice watermark look. And you'll notice that I'm stamping it probably upside down to the way that you would normally stamp it, or to ink it up. And that is just because I like to have some control when my stamp sets are larger. Now I'm using my grid paper so that my piece of card front is square, but I also want my words relatively square as well. And that'll be very difficult for you guys to see, but I can see it and it's just fine from it's a watermark type perspective. And I just wanted a little bit of something. I didn't want it to take away, I just wanted something to stick out from underneath my paper. So I just put that to the side and pop my lid back on my Versamark. When I store my Versamark, I store it upside down. The Stampin' Up stamp pads are made so that you store them the correct way up. However, Versamark's not, neither's Memento or Stays On. So in my house, they all live in that direction. Okay, just to keep the ink on the surface. Now, I don't know, I'll just bring it closer to the camera to see if you can see it. Hopefully you can. Okay, and then I've got this piece here, which I'm just going to add. This is a simple card. It will be easy for anyone to complete. I've got my snail. I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on here. You know, some people are really generous with snail, others not so generous. Oh, don't drop it. Okay, it just depends. Now, this has got a gradient to it, a watercolour wash gradient. So I've picked that I want the darker up the top. Doesn't matter. I just wanted to make sure when I was looking at my colours and which piece of designer series paper I was going to use out of the pack, I just wanted something, there's a little bit of fluff there. I wanted something that was lighter than my base cardstock. Okay, so that's popped together. I've got all these bottles of perfume, and the reason why I've got so many is because I just sat in front of the telly one night cutting them out, and now I can make more than one card, but it's just going to be a matter of working out which ones that work for me. I've pre-cut a piece of silver because it's always nice to have something shiny, and out of the stitched rectangle stitch framelets, I've cut one, and I'm actually made it to fit my sentiment. I think the perfume, the handbags, the shoes, they all fit this sentiment that you're so fabulous. And then you can pop whatever sentiment, it's more or less an anything goes card on the inside. So I'm planning on having that sitting there like so, my sentiment and my perfume bottles. Easy peasy, okay? So I'll just pop this over here. If you're a little bit like me and you like to be frugal, you can cut something out of this with the die cutting machine or a punch first, but I've made the executive decision not today. Okay, now I could just stamp this in Gorgeous Grape. That'll work perfectly. I could stamp it in Melon Mambo because I've got some, or Lovely Lipstick. I've got some perfume bottles, a wash of Lovely Lipstick, but Melon Mambo will also work for them. Okay, or I could go, I could even use the Highland Heather, or that looks like it would fit with Mint Macaron as well. You know, so I've got a bit of choice here. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to colour this sentiment in 3 different colours. Now, I've chosen the Brights collection just because I can, because they're loud and they're vibrant and they're easy to see. Now, when you get your markers, they actually come in a little plastic case. I've taken them out and I've popped them into one of our thin stamp cases because it's easier for me. I've then printed off one of our lovely demonstrators over in WA, Kelly. She makes these each year for us, and I've printed off one of them so I can have that in here. And as you can see, they all fit perfectly. Now, essentially, there's 10 colours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 colours in mine. That's Flirty Flamingo. And guess what? So is that. So they actually fit quite nicely. And you could even fit a blender pen in there if you wanted to as well. But I do have 2 Flirty Flamingos, so they both hang out there. I'm going to go with Gorgeous Grape, Melon Mango, and I could do Flirty Flamingo, but you know what? I'm thinking I might just do the Gorgeous Grape and the Melon Mambo. We normally would do a lighter colour first, which happens to be our Melon Mambo, which I am going to do. And using the brush end, you'll notice that there's a skinny end, which is our pen, and a fat end. And they're marked on the markers. You'll notice the blends are the same. So I'm going to do colour in the word Fabulous. I'm just slightly stroking the brush over the top of it, just to put some ink on there. And then I'm going to bring in my Gorgeous Grape, amazing colour. And then I'm going to go and do exactly the same thing. Now, I'm being very careful against that edge to make sure I don't touch my Melon Mambo. So if you're doing some pale colours, like you're doing a flower or a anything that's got a paler colour, always go with the palest colour first. And the reason being is then if you touch your colours in front with the next colour, then you won't actually muck up the end of your pen. So, because there'd be nothing worse than getting, for example, Gorgeous Grape onto my Daffodil Delight brush. It'd take me a little bit to get it off. Okay. Now, in oh so classy foam form, because you'll see You're Just So Fabulous is coloured in, but this ink's a water-based ink, dries relatively quickly, so potentially it's drying now. To re-moisten this, it's very easy. All we have to do is huff on it. It's very unclassy, Probably not ideal in the current situations, but I'm the only one using my stamp set, so I'm okay and happy to do that. And I actually know I'm COVID free. That test for that's not fun, let me tell you, but I love the result when it comes back that negative. All right, so we just go, so you can see the moisture from my breath on it. It's a bit like blowing out birthday candles at the moment. We don't want that happening either. So I'll just huff it again, line it up. Hopefully I'm relatively straight when I place that down. And I'm just going to hold it down a little bit longer than what I would normally. I just normally tell myself that I'm fabulous 3 times, but we won't be doing that. And ta-da. I actually think that looks pretty smick. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty square as well. So that's good. Okay. So, and you've got a couple more, like you can, oh, probably wouldn't get another one out of it, but that's okay. So as easy as, I'm just going to adhere this one to here. Now, my snail will do it for me. However, I have in the past mucked it up when I'm using snail, and because of this shiny surface, I am going to use my multi-purpose glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. I don't get stressed about where I put it. I work on the less is best theory with this stuff because it goes a long way. If you get it on the outside, it just attracts the dirt. Never sticks, but it gives me some serious wiggle room, just so that I can make sure I've got my tongue held in the right position while I'm actually pushing that down, so that my lines are straight. There we go. Okay, so that's actually just going to sit, that's actually going to sit flat on here. I could add some ribbon if I wanted. I could add some trim, bit of fibre. I usually do because I really like fibre. However, I'm going to let these perfume bottles do the talking. Now, I think this baby has to go on. It's not negotiable because that's the colour of the base card. Then we've got another couple of really big bottles of perfume, and there's nothing like a big bottle of perfume. Now, I'm actually allergic to perfume, so I don't wear a lot of perfume, but if I was to place these, sort of using my base here as a bit of a shelf, I need to bring in the lovely lipstick bottle. And just because I can, I will also bring in this green one, because I don't know about you, but whenever I see what my sister-in-law and some other relatives have when it comes to, or just my mum have when it comes to having perfume, they don't only have one bottle. There is a variety depending on the occasion so that they can choose what they're going to wear. So looking at that, I'm actually pretty happy with those bottles. And then there's a bit of variety, a bit of, I don't know, lots of different colour, and that works for me. So we'll just pop them here, create a little bit of magic. So I'm going to have all these ones left over that are up here. All right, so this one's going to go on first because it's the one that's the furthest behind. And it's a matter of working out where I want it. So I've got them sort of lined up so I can see that's still going to sit behind that bottle there, because I want it to sort of go off the page a little bit. I'm going to use my glue again, only because it's too little to use the snail. My bottle at the front, this one here, is the only one that's going to have dimensionals under it, just so it sits up that little bit. So it looks like it's my favourite and closest at the front. Oops, got glue on me. Need a nice small pair of tweezers rather than having to scoop it off the table. So if I measure that, make sure my bottle's standing up straight because I don't want it to look like it's on a wobbly shelf. Okay. My green bottle. Don't understand why I keep putting my lid back on. Force a habit, I guess. Because if they were sitting up on the back shelf, they'd sit about so. You're going to sit here. All right, so they're about there. Now I'm actually going to put this on. Oh, and there's my measurements. That silver piece to go with the rectangle stitch frame is 8.5 centimetres by 5 centimetres for anyone that needs to know. Okay, I will pop the measurements in my blog post about it. There you go, see, I'll put the lid back on again. Okay, and I want this to sit approximately here. So it's not, you'll notice it's not in the centre. It's going to play tricks with my mum's eyes. She really doesn't like it when I do that, but that's okay. She has so many cards in my box to choose from. If one doesn't work for her, she can pick a different one. Okay, bring in a couple of dimensionals. Pop you on here. Now, my mini dimensionals aren't over here, so I will make one. They're on a different table because like any fine craft room, it has more than one offering of a table. Okay, because that baby is going to sit about there. Just need to cover up that gap as far as I'm concerned. So I'll put you there. These two are on the same ledge and that one there isn't. So we'll might just move that so the neck of that bottle is in between those two. Looks like a nice big cluster. Now I do have a mark on there, and we all know any marks on our cards is just a reason to embellish, isn't it? So just play around with it until you're happy. All right, that mark's just going to have to sit there. It's going to annoy me, but that's just going to be the way it goes. Might stick a purse on it from the other piece. That'll be a bit of fun, actually. Ooh. I think I might. How cute would that be? Let me see what colours there are. Yes, I think that purse sitting in front of that perfume bottle, just to cover my little mark there, would be perfect. Oh, might need to go and cut one of them out. Actually, there's some of those I prepared earlier as well. All right, so this one here, I'm going to use this to get it off. See, less is best. Don't need lots. You could use a glue dot if you wanted. And we'll just pop you back under there. Little bit of wiggle room. This one's going to be the same. Just want to make it level with that one there. Sorry, excuse the top of my head. And who else just drops dimensionals wherever, like the backs of dimensionals wherever they see fit? I do. My kids hate it because they seem to be attracted to them. That's looking pretty smick, isn't it? Okay, so, okay, I've just grabbed a little purse. And I'm thinking that that purse is going to sit there perfectly. So I'll just stick a dimensional under it. Should use some mini ones. But it fits. If it fits, it's all good. And I'm just going to use my pokey tool, my take your pick tool, just because I wanted to I'm going to make it level with that perfume bottle, and I want it square. Voila. All good. Now, there's a couple of things when it comes to me, that card's done. I actually really like it. Now I do have this other piece of paper left over. So what I'm going to do with that, I'll just move a few things aside, is I have an envelope to decorate. The bummer about this paper is it's not big enough to cover this, okay, because it's 6 by 6. However, there's nothing stopping us putting a strip down here of the envelope, of the paper. There's nothing stopping us doing some stamping down the side, or if we really wanted to, some extra bottles. So, which is actually what I'm going to do. I might make it these two, I'm thinking. Okay, I do like to decorate my envelopes. I also like to decorate my insides. Now you'll notice I'm putting a bit more on these because if I do decide to send this through the mail, I'd actually like my perfume bottles to arrive there rather than get come off by the mail machine. So they're standing up nice and straight. So at the time of me publishing this and making this card, the Dress to Impress bundle is still available. It is actually moving over into the new catalogue. So there is a stamp set if you wanted to, and you could stamp a perfume bottle as a big version of this baby. Okay, and there's the watermark that goes behind it. So you could actually stamp that on there. You could stamp that on the back of your envelope here. I don't have the stamp set and I don't have the dies that go with it. I just got the designer series paper. It's on page 56 of the January to June mini catalogue. All right, so after that date, the designer series paper will be gone, but this stamp set and the stamp set and the dies are moving over into the new catalogue, so we'll still get to play. There's a cute little bag in the die set, so it's still on my wish list and it's getting closer and closer to me needing to get it. All right, so because I don't have that stamp set, I've added these, and oops, I just put that away over there. I didn't want to do that. Now, I like to decorate the inside of my cards. Some people just will write straight on there. I do use a piece of Whisper White and I will decorate this. Now, I don't have the stamp set. I've only got the perfume bottles, but I do have in my stash of goodies. Where's my stamp gone? A big mess on my table is what I do have. Hopefully it's all off camera. I do have the Highland Heather ink pad. So just to carry a few things through, okay. So I haven't cleaned this Versamark stand. I've used it Versamark. This is the very first script again that I haven't cleaned, but that's okay. And I'm going to stamp it off because I'm going to then put it up the side here. Now I do want to do it twice. Okay. All right, just to give it a little bit of decoration. And you could do that with the back of your envelope as well, if that's what you wanted to do. And I'm actually going to stick this bottle in here. I'll just pop that out of my way because I'm liable to stick my elbow on it. Okay, a little bit of adhesive. Let's do what I should have done before. Pick it up and place it on there. It does look like it's floating in the but just looking at, there's so many different colours that you could do this in. As long as you've got designer series paper that matches, you're pretty right. Or if you don't, nothing's stopping you making it using the stamp sets. Just line that baby up. and pop it in there. Now, as I said before, I've left the inside blank. I can add a stamp that says happy birthday, you know, congratulations, any of those sorts of things later. Anything that goes with You Are Just Fabulous. So that's that card. I want to see it in a different colour. Let me just make some room. All right. Here's one that I played with earlier. Okay, it's exactly the same. I've just used a different shape. I've used an oval out of the Stitch Shapes bundle. I didn't add silver, just because I didn't. And then when it came to the, I don't know if you can see it very well down here. See this, there's spots. You can see them on the inside. Life is better with you because you make me smile. This is actually going to my sister-in-law. She doesn't know it yet, but it'll arrive in her mailbox next week. These spots are actually part of our dog that's currently on the retiring list. So what I did was I just looked around in my stamps to see what I could have that would just give me some texture. So I pulled out Happy Tails and I've stamped my spots from my, what would turn my puppy into a spotty dog, onto the side of my card, onto the inside of my card, and even on my envelope. See? So there I have a lovely lipstick card with handbags. My sister-in-law really loves handbags. She really likes perfume too, but she really loves handbags. And now I'm sitting on the fence because I don't know whether she I think she prefers purple better, but maybe she likes pink. We'll see how we go. All right, so I hope you like them. Thanks for joining me.